Hello, citizens of Gotham. It is Wednesday, February 8th, and Jeff Sessions has just been confirmed as the Attorney General of the United States of America. There's an article here saying Jeff Sessions faces a tough job as the new Attorney General, and Trump isn't making it any easier. It just came out on LAtimes.com today, February 8th. Del Quinton was the author of this article, and it basically goes into the job that Sessions is going to have and how it's going to be difficult for him. So, first of all, this was because of Sessions' record on civil rights being from Alabama, he received a flood of protests from mainly people on the left and civil rights groups saying he should not be the Attorney General. And the Democrats, I'll give them credit, they lost 52-47, but it was a very prolonged fight. One Democrat voted in favor of him. Senator Joe Manchin III of West Virginia was the only Democrat who supported him. So, if you live in West Virginia, maybe you let that guy know how you feel about Sessions. What this article is going to go into is the trickiness of this job and blah, blah, blah. Basically, it's dangerous because Sessions was an ardent Trump supporter, and now his job as Attorney General is to kind of sometimes hold the executive branch, the White House, in check. How is he going to do that? How is he going to do that? Like, let's say Comey, the FBI director, it's his job to investigate whether the second investigation into Hillary's emails the week before the election was actually Comey acting inappropriately and abusing his power as director of the FBI. Because he had already said they went through the whole thing, Hillary was on trial, or not trial, but they grilled her. And so now, is Sessions going to hold Comey accountable? And is he going to say, oh, we need to replace this guy? The guy that helped you win, boss Trump, that hired me? And also, there's a lot of, the people that are speaking out, it's a kind of a creepy mixed bag. And of course, the Democrats did an overnight session with Elizabeth Warren, was reading Coretta Scott King's speech, and they shut her down. They didn't allow her to speak. And there's video of it all over the internet. So the thing I'll at least give the Democrats credit for is I think some of the pressure that is coming from the left to Democrats, they're realizing, oh, I can't just rubber stamp these. Well, I don't want to cause problems. We'll just let them go. Because more people are paying attention. The Democrats are like, oh, I just need to vote no because everyone's checking who's voting now. And if I don't put up a good fight, they're going to vote me out in the 2018, which is the fear that they should have, and that is the fear we hear on the left. If you're a progressive, you should instill this fear in your Democratic lawmakers. That it's not about voting out the Republicans and getting back control in 2018, which is important, but it's about voting out any assholes on the Democratic Party that haven't been doing their job. Vote them out and put an actual progressive in their seat. I'd even love just a moderate Republican if such a thing existed. Sessions is going to be in charge. Sessions is going to be in charge of. First of all, I forgot to say, we're trying the lighting and the microphone, and we're trying a new background because when I was sitting against the white wall, there was all these shadows when I used these new lights, these two new lights right here. So now I just said, well, there's no shadows, so you can see a map of the world. There's my laptop. That's my surfboard. That's some Buddhist thing. So I like the lighting. I think the lighting's better. I spent a little money. And the microphone, I hope the microphone's good. Tell me your thoughts. I know I need like a real background news studio, but we're not there yet, guys. I got 300 some subscribers. When we get to like 30,000 subscribers, then we can do it. Like and subscribe. So, the Justice Department, Sessions will be responsible for leading the legal defense of President Trump's immigration restrictions, for halting and investigating terrorist attacks, and for investigating hate crimes and abuses by local and state law enforcement. Oh man, this is why everyone was so against this guy. Trump is just I mean, sure, every president comes in and, stacks people that are going to push their agenda and help them and get behind that presidency. But any of the laws that are in favor of civil rights or what are going to be taken away. Now, that was the one thing, like Obama did that, and then he was also busy bombing a lot of Muslims. He bombed a lot of Muslims. But he also just let them have equal rights in this country, but just not in their own country, where he's been drone striking people in numerous Muslim countries for years. If you ever watched that John Oliver episode about drone strikes, it's pretty horrifying. And the left didn't get all up in a tizzy when they saw that show, which they should have. So here's what's going on in terms of the travel ban fight that now Sessions is going to be in the middle of. So last weekend, Trump denounced a federal judge in Seattle who had temporarily blocked Trump's executive order from suspending immigration and refugees from 7 Muslim countries. A 3-judge panel from the U.S. Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals in San Francisco heard arguments Tuesday on the government's efforts to lift the stay. The judges did not issue an immediate ruling, and Trump complained Wednesday that the legal process was taking too long. He's just everything. He's like Milosevic from Yugoslavia. Hey, maybe I should do one on that. So a little background on our boy Jeff. He was first elected to the Senate from Alabama in 1996 and served 2 decades on the Judiciary Committee, which reviews federal judges and conducts oversight of the Justice Department. Interesting fact about Alabama, if you watch the documentary 13th, which I highly recommend, and shows how since the end of slavery, the 13th Amendment, which abolished slavery, there was a little clause in there on you can't enslave someone unless they commit a crime. And then as soon as slavery ended, they went through primarily the South and just arrested black men in whole to do anything. So the South lost their free labor in the slavery. So then they made work camps and hard labor prisons. And that is one of the reasons why our prison system is the way it is. There's this organization called ELEC, which writes laws, and they are funded. They're basically a corporation of private prisons. That is, the prison industry needs to go create criminals to fill up their prisons because they make a lot of money. That's private. So that when you hear anyone in the government, especially the Trump people, well, we got to privatize, you better bet your sweet ass that they own whatever corporation they want to pick up the now deregulated ball, because they're going to make a shit ton of money. So our boy Jeff, Alabama, 30% of black men in the state of Alabama have been convicted of a crime and therefore can't vote. That's the other thing. Convicted felons can't vote. So let's make a giant portion of this one community that is going to be against our conservative crap ineligible to vote because we put them in prison for bullshit reasons. You arrest a white teen or a black teen for smoking weed, black teen is 3 times more likely to go to prison than the white kid. White kid will get a slap on the wrist. I got busted for doing crazy bullshit when I was young, shooting bottle rockets into the campus of Northwestern University, spraying, we had a fire hose, and I got arrested a couple of times in high school for just doing prank stuff, but that's exactly it. Oh, the white kids, boys will be boys, prank stuff. Had we been a group of black kids, I don't know. Maybe I would have served 6 months in jail or something, and then just been thrown down this long hallway of the system. Of course, Sessions' supporters say he's uniquely qualified, pointing to his 12 years as U.S. Attorney in Alabama and 2 years as State Attorney General. And he's going to aggressively tackle illegal immigration. It's just going to be open season on anyone that's brown with these cats. So he is also going to be in charge, will oversee the reported federal investigation into potential ties between Trump campaign and the Russian government. And the U.S. intelligence agencies last month reported, so if there is anything, he's not going to, what is he, they're going to just like, oh, they're going to say we didn't find anything, or they're going to say they're going to do the one bad apple. Like the way the Catholic Church was like, oh, there was a couple of bad priests that, acted bad and molested some kids, but we didn't know, and the church is doing good work, and he'll do something along those lines. But I want to read a little quote from John Yo, Y-O-O, a law professor at UC Berkeley who served in the Justice Department in George Bush administration, said Sessions would have to combat those presidential impulses while retraining Trump's trust, a task that you liken to walking a tightrope. Quote, if you are too far from the president, you will get cut out of the decision-making process, and you are not doing your job as Attorney General. Oh, wow. That's cool. He worked for the Justice Department. You really want to know who John Yoo was if you don't know who he was? He wrote the torture memos that gave Bush leeway to do the enhanced interrogation of suspected terrorists, including waterboarding. That was John Yoo, was part of that. He wrote the laws for that, and then Obama didn't go, oh, these are awful. Obama kept doing them too. Funded some black site torture facilities, so that's our boy John, who's at UC Berkeley. Does Berkeley know what he was a part of? Would Berkeley? Interesting. So, yeah, this is what's going on here, and he is now the only person in the administration to tell Trump no. And who knows how that's going to play out. I don't think he's going to suddenly be some hero at all. And the Deputy Attorney General is Rod Rosenstein, who was the U.S. Attorney in Maryland in both Republican and Democratic administrations. So he's the Deputy Attorney General. He seems to be somewhat reasonable, but the Deputy Attorney General runs day-to-day operations, includes FBI, Federal Bureau of Prisons. See that? Well, what's the connection? So you better believe that Sessions and some of these other guys either already own stock or part of private prison companies, or they're going to. There's no way they're not going to profit off of this. Locking up the Muslims and anybody else they can. They're going to profit off it. There's no way, if they don't round up the 2 million undocumented people in this country, it's because they crunched the numbers and realized it would cost more than they would make a profit on. Trust me on that one. Because the Deputy Attorney General runs the actual department that handles, as I said, FBI, Federal Bureau of Prisons, ATF, and it has 100,000 employees and a $28.7 billion budget. So that's what's happening. Once again, Senator Joe Manchin III of West Virginia was the only Democrat to vote in favor of Jeff Sessions. So if you're from West Virginia, let him know. Pay attention, guys. This is just one of a million crazy, evil things that are happening. But they didn't happen out of nowhere. Obama was kind of doing it. Bush was kind of doing it. Clinton was kind of doing it. Or even more than kind of doing it. Thanks for watching. Let me know what you think of the lights and the sound and the new thing. We'll see what we'll play around with this a little bit. Thanks for watching. Make Gotham great again.